Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of our program, High on the Ball, aimed at critically examining what is happening in the political atmosphere in Osun State, most especially ahead of the governorship election that will face next month. And this is the first edition of our program. My name is Jare Tiamiyu, and let me remind you that this program is a partnership program between Insight Multilinks Media and Positive Agenda Nigeria. As you know, we brought the data again, and we'll be looking at them one after the other. You know what we did the whole time? We tried to compare and contrast. What did we have in week 2? What do we have in week 3? And now this time, we'll also be looking at what we had in week 2, week 3, and also this week, which is week 4. You remember that this week was actually characterized by activities along political parties, the party primaries. So we had little engagement when it comes to campaign speeches, rallies here and there. But as far as the media engagement is concerned, we still have it as we did. The jingles are still online, are still on radio and television, and also we have several posts, several issues, statements issued by political parties and their campaign organization. Let's start from where we do start, and that is looking at the sanity of the atmosphere. Is it actually sane, or we have it worse? But as we speak this time, it means that we have it saner than what we had in the week 3. The attacks are actually reduced from what we had, 26.92 that we had in week 3, to what we have now is 23.71. It means that if they can continue improving, maybe we will get it better. In their claims, we have 32.78 in week 3, remember, and this week we have 22.40. And the defense, 24.13 in week 3, but this time, maybe, when the attacks reduce, you expect the defense to also go down. And that is why we have 13.79. But let me say that the chief attackers are still the members of the People's Democratic Party, the main opposition party, while the chief defenders are the members of the ruling or Progressive Congress. During the weekend, when the Positive Agenda was having their dissemination engagement, we had members of these two political parties represented, and they also said that video, you can actually access it on our YouTube page. But let me also say that the major attacks are also on issues that we categorize as others. Like, somebody says you want to develop the youth, you want to do more in the sports engagement and others. All those ones, we categorize them in the areas that we call others. Maybe that is where we have more issue of attacks here and there. But as far as the defenses are concerned, it is about infrastructure, 9.7%. Most issues are like this, the state, the ruling APC is actually the one defending. So they are actually telling us what they have done in the area of infrastructure. And then their claims, their claims is what somebody say, we've done this, we did this, all those things. Is actually about workers' salaries, workers' welfare, empowerment, and all those. So that is where we have the highest percentage of our claims in 7.4%. Let me say, the attack continue to be higher on social media, most especially on Facebook. But I want to tell you that this week that we are reviewing, week 4, we have highest engagement on Twitter. It means also people are continuing to migrate. We've started the migration before. Now we're now having more people on Twitter actually engaging political parties. And I just hope that the candidates of these political parties will be the one actually replying issues. Not that somebody somewhere will just be replying on behalf of someone who will now get to the government house and say, I'm not aware of this, I'm not aware of that. You remember you remember what we had at the national stage? Let me just put it at that somebody will say, I'm not aware of this. Maybe it is a manifesto of the party and not that of myself, which I was the candidate then. But highly informed engagement, telling people what you have done, what you want to do. If you are elected by July 16th, we have the APC still having 100% of that. all the highly informed engagement that we analyzed during the week, it was just the APC alone that had it. Then slightly informed engagement, the APC has 71%, even when they have those that we categorize as slightly informed, that at least it makes sense a little bit. Then if this is exactly what they are saying, we can actually derive senses from this. We have the APC also having 71.79%, followed by the leading opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, having 12%. Then the Labour Party and Accord, they have 7.69% apiece. And you can see the graphical representation over there, and then the levels and everything. You can see that is the graphical representation of what we have from that area. But before I go, I still saw something like personality disparagement. You see some people still attacking other people's personality, leaving issues undiscussed, now telling us this personality on this or that. But you know, highly intensive, that is highly toxic, let me use that word, that we have during that time. We have the PDP, the People's Democratic Party, having 57.14% of highly intensive, toxic personality disparagement. And the APC follows by 28.57%. The Accord Party, no, you don't have. Labour Party, 14.24%. I mean, what I mean highly intensive, I mean those that are, you know, in the categories of bullying, in the categories of, you know, those toxic statements that people are making. Also, we have moderately intensive, we have the PDP having the highest in that one too. The APC followed by Accord. The Labour Party, they do not have. You can see the graphic representation there. The slightly intensive, PDP, 53, 44 by APC, then 2.1 by Labour Party. You can see it there. Non-intensive, those words that are just like the disparage personality, but you cannot be saying they are too brutal about it. We have the PDP having 18%, but this time it is the APC that is leading with 68.88%, followed by the Accord Party, and lastly, the Labour Party. There is something that all of us must actually look into. All of us, wherever you might be watching this show, whoever you might be, if you have interest of democracy at heart, if you believe that we must continue to work to attain near perfect democratic system, especially in the electoral process, you must ensure that you will condemn this. And we have put everybody on alert that two things are threatening the elections in Osun as we move on. Number one is vote buying, while the number two is rigging through political thugs. Those are the two. We actually analyzed four. We put four on the on test, and then we realized that rigging through political thugs has 50%, and vote buying also has 50%. Let me say the PDP, People's Democratic Party, have said, they said, our analysts found out that their statement have been suggesting that they are ready for vote buying. The APC, they have said they want a post that devoid of rigging and then vote buying. But the PDP, their body language, their statements, expressions have also suggested that. You remember the candidate said something that can actually be, traced to something of that nature. He didn't say he wanted to buy a vote anyway, but he said that this time around he has money. Let's now conclude and see what are the inferences from all these analyses and observations that we have actually talked about. Number one, I would like to say that some political parties like SDP, PRP, and some other political parties are actually found missing, like 6 of them. Because what we have been discussing, we have only been able to see what 9 political parties are saying out of 15 political parties that have paid their candidates for this election. So it means the remaining 6, maybe they have not been engaging on some people. And, we are just like 5 weeks to the election. And we cannot continue to actually say that those people are not engaging. This time, they should be telling us. Maybe they are underrating themselves, but I know everything can change. maybe those parties are going to lead Osun, but I want to employ them that they should try and actually start engaging the people of Osun State. And also, we realize that the PDP supporters found to be more toxic, and especially in their approach, most especially during the online engagement. We realize that is why we have the attacks on their Facebook pages, the Twitter messages, and all others. We would like to implore the party to ensure that they caution some of their supporters on what they say on social media. Also, we realize that the parties discussed in their engagement during the week stand against what the public wants. What parties were saying, what they are discussing, stand against actually what the public wants. The public wants, as you have seen the data there, and then the parties' discussion, they are actually far away. There are two different things as we observed during the week. And also, we realize that the personality disparagement overshadowed policy engagement. That's another conclusion that we derive from hot days. Also, INEC, security agencies, and others must be on red alert to ensure that there is no political brigandage, there is no thuggery, disturbance of peace, and all others. And also, they must work very hard to curb vote buying on the day of election. As you've seen the data there, you can see 50% says there is going to be the disruption by political thugs, and also the 50% say some parties are actually warming up to buy votes on the day of election. And I will still say that APC is leading when it comes to engagement, as all the data that we have analyzed have actually said, most especially engaging people with highly informed policy engagement, the way they are talking about what they have for the people of the state and then what they actually want to do. I think they have been so clear, and then clearer than some other political parties that we have seen. And on that note, I want to say thank you for being part of this week's edition of Eye on the Ball. My name is Jaire Tiamiyu.